I know, I told you
Take them off before I stand up and leave there. How'd you laugh?
They're immediately sitting down.
that. Yeah,
So they're part of this.
yeah.
I just went ahead and
I was
told you
curious
that.
about moving these down here
So
because,
we wanted to, that's why I did.
because if they approve
Would it
those
work?
and then they
Because
they
they're
would
on
have to
the, they're on the road
resign
trying to
that.
get on.
So it would probably be smart to move
So if
those to
you
the
want
bottom.
Maybe
North County,
yeah.
Yeah, that was my only thought.
That's
Them
why
two
I,
will just,
Right, they're both doing it.
and they
cut the
both
road
know.
trip off.
Right, yeah. I just hate to have to do it and then revoke it in the same meeting.
She said she'd get me a date and time, get some dates and times.
No, you can walk.
But I figured you'd be able to make more sense now with some of this stuff.
That's quite all right. I will get there.
Once we get back to that next item, that's the item.
Okay, so it is already on there.
Yeah, that's why I put it there in case y'all wanted to.
Looks
Give you the
like
option.
we're.
I was just
it's
wasn't sure.
that
I was
time.
kind of nervous about that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. I hope everybody can hear me. I've been dealing with some respiratory stuff that might have been COVID, might have been something else. I don't know. But I got a test and it said last week I was positive. But I'm better now. Nobody can catch it, but I'm still going to keep the mask on just in case. All righty. But if you can't hear me, please raise your hand or something, and then I will speak louder. This regular council meeting for the city of Richwood, we rescheduled it due to lack of potential lack of quorum, which should have been Monday night, and we are calling it to order at 6 p.m. First things, please rise for the invocation and pledges.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity before us as we conduct business of the city. Please grant wisdom to the council as decisions are made. May you be with each one, including the new council member to be appointed this evening. We thank you for the willingness of so many in this city to volunteer. During this season, we are awed by the gift you gave us when you sent your Son to be born. The world was changed forever when our Savior was brought to earth for all of us. Please spread your arms around us all as we go through this Christmas season and beyond. We pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Let the record reflect that all council members, with the exception of the open position 5, all council members are here. Item 5, do we have any public comments? Would you please, Jeremy?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. No public comments. Moving on to the consent agenda. Oh,
Is that not on there?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was reading no on the agenda item.
yes, sir. Come on
Go
up.
ahead, Mr. Challenger.
yes.
And then there was another one. There's two.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Again.
I was reading no.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you guys. This time of year, I always like to reflect on the successes, the blessings, things that we've learned over the years so that we can apply them to future years of the things that we did right, the things that we did wrong. This year has been definitely tough, but we've also experienced some blessings, I'd imagine. I'll talk about myself for a moment, if you don't mind. Some blessings that happened, which one was I moved to Richwood in April. I love it here. Voted, and my wife served jury duty. We're starting to feel part of the community, which is really nice. I'm really proud of my family. One of the things that's just been great here is my oldest son, who was injured by a medical procedure at 5 years old. We hired a teacher named Lindsay Towns. Y'all may know her. She's locally from here. And I want to recognize her as the best teacher in the world. She has unlocked him, and it's just been amazing. My other son, Grant, is also just a star. He goes to ACS. Actually, today I found out that they, instead of giving him the pre-algebra test because he was doing so good in math, they gave him Algebra 2, and he scored an 86. So I'm really proud of him on that. My wife has, I don't know if you guys are aware, but she started a group in Richwood. It's not just for Richwood, but it's a group that is an extension of something that we started in Houston many years ago. It's called Special Blessings. It's for the care of parents of special needs children. And that group is doing really good. We've got 15 members so far. And one of those members, just so you guys know, has been in isolation, caring for her child for 5 years. And she is healing. So those are some blessings from the year that I just want to recognize. And business-wise, I told you guys I would share a little bit about how I would handle things. I told you we're blessed, and I meant it. The last 2 council meetings, we got introduced to a group of people. That one of the hardest things when you are building a company is finding your people. What do they look like? Who are they? I think you guys found them. You had people that came up here who were very professional, very polite, courageous. What more could you ask for? So I just want you guys to know that I'm looking forward to a new year. Merry Christmas, and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Johnson said yes also, but I don't know if it's regarding the action item.
Michael Johnson?
No, I see I'm on the agenda already.
Okay.
I'm just here for the interview.
Okay. All righty. All right. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Be the budget report, October 2022. Appoint William Yearson to the Crime Control and Prevention District Board, and appoint David Thompson to the Crime Control and Prevention District Board.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I request that B and C be removed from the consent agenda and moved to after item 7 in case one of those guys gets appointed as, because they're both applied to be council member, and I'd hate to see them appointed to this and then make one of them perhaps make council, then have to pull them back off of it. I think it would save a little confusion if we move it to after number 7.
I agree. So
Other than that, I'd make a motion to accept item A of the consent agenda.
Okay, we need to go ahead and get that in a motion. And
I'd like to
vote
make a
as far as
motion to postpone items B and C from the consent agenda until after item 7 is completed.
Okay.
Or after item 8, I guess.
Okay.
After item 8.
We have an item already on there for removed items. The last.
Item E
action
of number 9.
Yeah. Yeah, item E.
It'll be
Yeah.
for the removed items.
So,
It'll
all
just be
right.
removed, it'll be added there.
All right, I have a motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second made by Councilmember Yarborough. Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Strong, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarborough, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
And Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect that the motion has carried. Okay, now moving on to 6, item A.
We gotta
Budget.
do the budget report, right?
Sir?
You gotta make a motion to approve the budget
Okay.
report?
All
I'd like
right.
to make a motion to approve the budget report.
Okay. We have a motion made by Councilmember Johnson.
I'll
Do we
second.
have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Strawn seconds. Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarborough, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
And Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect that the motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 7. Executive session pursuant to Chapter 551, 0745, personnel matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or hear a complaint or charge against a public officer or employee. Item 1, discuss, consider, and appoint applicant to fulfill unexpired term for City Council position number 5. Our candidates, number 1, Jeremy Fountain, number 2, Gene Reichert, number 3, David Thompson, 4, William Yearson, and 5, Michael Johnson. First of all, let me thank each and every one of you for signing up and stepping up. We do appreciate it. David Thompson won't be with us tonight due to he is a pastor at the Unity Baptist Church, Unity Missionary Baptist Church, so they're having services tonight. So I guess we will adjourn from open session and we will move on to the executive session. And that'll be at 6:12.
waiting, but they wanted to take that break, so.
Mike, from here and get back in.
Are you afraid I'm gonna give you the crud or something?
No.
Wait until the last minute to come sit by.
He survived the church meeting.
Oh, okay. He did?
Did he? No, he got it too. So when you and I weren't feeling good, he didn't feel good either. You survived it. And you survived it at home because Alan.
Okay. Let's go ahead and call the open session back to order at 7:50 p.m. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, council members. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone that has applied for the council jobs. We appreciate everyone being able to sit down and talk to us and their answers. A lot of good, insightful answers that have been given. Do we have any action as a result of the executive session?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jeremy Fountain to the position of City Council, Position 5.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilmember Michael Johnson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second by Councilmember Roy Escalante. Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarborough, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
And Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect that the motion carries. Jeremy Fountain, welcome to the City of Richwood City Council, and I believe your chair is waiting.
Yeah, I'll get you sworn at the end. He's taken oath recently.
I think the course thing.
I was gonna say you're recently sworn in, so we'll get it done. I'm
Okay.
taking up every time.
All right, moving on. Discussion and action items. A, discuss and consider approving Resolution 22R-72 authorizing submission of an application to the Texas General Land Office for a
Mr.
community.
Mayor?
Yes.
Do we need to go back up to the consent agenda, the items B and C? Letters? We're going to do that later?
That's the end.
That would be, yeah, that'll be at the end. That'll be in item E under, I believe it's under, yeah.
Sorry,
Approve items.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Again, discuss and consider approving Resolution 22-R-72 authorizing the submission of an application to the Texas General Land Office for a Community Block Development Grant, Mitigation CDBG MIT Program Method of Distribution, MOD, and authorizing the mayor and or city manager to act as the city's executive officer and authorized representative in all matters pertaining to the city's participation in the CDBG MIT mod.
So this is, I sent you all the information with it. Thomas Quintero from Public Management is here to kind of present and answer any questions you have. This is just giving Eric or the mayor authorization to sign any documents needed to finalize our application for the MIT-MOD grant that we've already been allocated funds for. He's ready to submit everything, just need the final.
Can you scroll to the maps real quick? Thomas, did you want to come up?
In the packet? Sure. Is it in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, Council, this is the COG mod that we brought to you previously that was approved. Due to the cost of the programs that we had looked at, there was a slight reduction in scope, but we did want to bring this forward to you with what we have reduced it to now. And in the maps, you'll see it's basically three components. It's water, sewer, actually four: water, sewer, drainage, and the street improvement. So the scope has changed just a little bit as far as the west outfall ditch, which we had originally talked about redoing that whole thing, and we're not going to do that now. That's the only real change. Cliff, you got anything to add?
Yeah, one of the main reasons it was decided, two of the main streets that fall into that ditch are gonna be Quail Run and Four Oaks. We have quite a bit more freeboard in the east ditch, so we opted to continue that drainage another 75 feet. To fall into the east ditch was much more cost effective than rehabilitating that whole section of ditch to drain just two streets. So right now we just serve as drainage for the utility that's there.
The green is street rehabilitation, and the slide previous, Kirsten.
Oh, skip into
Purple is drainage and sewer, I believe. And blue is water. So that's the full scope of this project, council.
Do we have a idea where this is gonna score? We scoring high? We going in blind? Where we?
So this is an allocation program. It's a method of distribution. So a lot of cities across different counties in the local coastal area will be allocated these funds. So instead of it being a competition like the previous mid competition, these funds are pretty much already allocated for the city of Richwood. All we have to do is just make a case and have beneficiaries for the project. So
Sweet.
we've got these funds.
Oh,
That's great.
cool.
And this is huge because this is also on our capital projects list.
Yeah.
Was regrading and redoing the drainage on these roads. And since we're already in there, then we're going to go ahead and redo the pipes and as well. So it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, this takes care of both of the large valleys, right?
Is there a target?
Yes, on Quail Run. Now, Wisteria has a little bit of that problem, but Quail Run is going to be taken care of, the issue that's persisted forever.
That's right. It's Wisteria and Quail Run, not Briar Creek. Briar Creek doesn't have a large.
Briar Creek, yeah, does not, it's Quail Run.
Okay, sorry.
Mike, you have a question?
I was wondering if there's a target, budgetary target.
2,456,000. That's our allocation. That's project scope,
53.
management, and grant administration.
And based on today's pricing, Jared Engelke has split the water up in two parts from what I understand. So instead of doing all of it, because we're very close to the max, we have partial water and an alternate. If we can't get it all, we can always take the alternate with the less. We might not get all the water done, but all the drainage and streets should be completed.
What do we have on that cost figure of the option of water? Do we have a cost tied directly to that?
I don't know that exact cost for the alternate, for the alternate for the other.
It's gonna be something, not a number we can cover with what's in general fund. Correct?
Yes, we probably could.
Okay. So that's something that if we get to that point in the road, we can look at
Yes, sir.
approving those funds.
While we have the crew there, mobilizations there, can we
I'm
add?
not sure because that's a change order to a grant. I don't know if that would, I don't know how that's gonna fly.
Okay.
But worst case scenario, I don't think we'd be paying that much more to get it done, if that be the case, but I'm not sure how that would work out.
So,
If we get there, we'll bring it to you, nonetheless.
right, most definitely.
So has Strand already, is it Strand that's gonna be doing the engineering on this?
Yes.
Have they, I just had a quick question, and I'm looking at, we're about 7,700 square feet of 6-inch reinforced concrete, another 2,100 square feet of 6-inch for the driveway. Are there any, I remember when we were doing the roads there on, I think it was Oak Drive, on Oak, there was an intersection that we had to put some fast-acting concrete versus the normal process, and it increased, I think it was like, we came back to council for like $14,000 or $15,000, but it was going to take longer for that other one to cure. I'm just curious to see if this concrete and the road improvement is gonna have any adverse effect for traffic. So then we have to come back for an addendum for the fast acting concrete
I
that we had to
understand,
get.
Lori, I appreciate that. I think if that situation was tied to an intersection. I
An
believe.
intersection, correct.
Yes, sir. So this is one way in, one way out on 2 of the 3 streets. Briar Creek is a pass-through, but it's not, none of these are 4-way stops like Moore and Oyster Creek Drive. I wouldn't foresee it at this time.
Okay.
Any reason for that to be done.
Okay, just something I'm just trying to just throw out there so we were aware, and I haven't seen the full engineering scope, if what kind of concrete they're using and whatnot, so. All right.
Okay, any other questions? Councilman Fountain?
Well, not much yet.
Okay. All right.
I'll have to go back and look at all of it.
Okay. I'll give y'all a few minutes to think about it, and then whenever y'all get ready, if you want to offer a motion or ask another question.
What was our match on this? Or we don't have,
No.
we don't have the match on this one?
That was it.
Yeah, so this is a no-brainer. So, okay.
This is just formality for GLO. You
Yeah.
have to do this.
Okay, let me get the proper language up here.
It's the mouthful.
I gotta say all that?
Does it have to be specific language in the motion, or can you just a motion to approve this resolution number?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Okay,
That's fine.
you don't have to say all that.
Recordings.
Sometimes they want
Make a motion to approve resolution 22-R-72, authorizing the submission of application to the Texas General Land Office.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilmember Yarbo. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Johnson. Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarborough, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
And Jeremy, how do you vote?
I can't vote yet.
Oh, that's right, you can't vote, you're not sworn. Okay. So let the record reflect that the motion has carried. All right, item E, or B, fog up glasses. Discuss and consider authorizing the city secretary to begin accepting bids for solid waste disposal services to be awarded at a later date.
Well, council, before we go through to that, I wanted to have everybody understand that we took the feedback we got from the November council meeting and applied it to a Survey Monkey survey, which the results are in front of you, with some of the options that were suggested, the twice a week pickup, and also some variable amounts on heavy trash and recycling if they were to be offered. So based on what we received back, I just have a recommendation that we move forward with an RFQ that states once a week residential refuse pickup, once a month heavy trash, twice a month residential recycle pickup, but a bid alternate that includes twice a week trash and also, weekly recycle if it were to be offered. I did get a couple calls specifically on this. They were more addressing concerns that if they don't use a service, why did they pay for it, being specifically recycling. I think the residents understand that it's a service. We have to buy it as a whole. We can't separate it out per resident. And I said, I don't know if there's a whole lot I could do about it, but I promised them I would mention it in council, so I'm just trying to do my part. But if council's okay with that, we will proceed forward. We And if you would like, we will present the last RFQ to the city attorney for review, if you think we need to, or we will move forward.
The, regarding the recycling cans, I mean, can we at least take, the can charge off? I mean, they may still get charged for the service of, you know, a portion of the service that all residents to have the recycling, but
They only get charged a can charge if they have an additional can.
Additional
Okay.
trash.
So it's a base
Yeah,
fee that includes one of each can,
Yeah,
and then if you have additional either or, it's an additional fee.
man, that, they pose the same question.
Okay.
It's, the fee is there. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it, but the fee is still.
that's right, we pay additional for the
For another
trash.
can, either,
Yes.
whichever color.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the last one I made a note about is first right of refusal. The only reason that I thought to maybe exclude that is we have not had very good luck with the roll-off services with Waste Connections. And the only reason I say is they deliver, they tend to deliver, but a lot of times the delay is pretty significant from the time the customer will call to the time they can get their dumpster. I think they have up to 72 hours, but many times it exceeds that. And I think at that time residents can go out and shop with a Sprint or another company that deals with roll-offs. But that first right of refusal, hopefully with extending a contract duration to a minimum of 5 years, we will maybe compensate for any negative impact that might have, because a longer contract term is probably going to get you a little bit better pricing. And we've been rolling with 3 years twice now, and I think it would be a good idea to look at a little bit longer term contract, especially with the way pricing is going these days with everything else.
Did I miss when our current contract ends?
This year, September
September.
30th.
Next,
I'm sorry, 23.
23.
I'm already in
We're not
23.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Okay.
Great. So we'd like to, this does take some time. We'd like to have it advertised by January, February at the latest, and have it approved by council no later than April or May. Because it does take the change, if there is a changeover, it does take time. We gotta get the contractor's property back to them, their caddies and.
Well, and before budget season, because there may be
Correct.
budget
We gotta know,
items that need to
yes,
be.
sir. We gotta know what we're looking at.
Yeah, because it would change over right before new budget.
Anybody have any input on those recommendations?
I think it sounds good.
Does this require a motion?
No, I just, is my recommendation okay? Or if there's anything within the recommendation
I don't
you'd
know
like
if
to
it
change?
needs action.
No, and I appreciate the survey. You know, I think we got some good feedback, so, and that RFQ is based on that feedback, so.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Alrighty. Next up, discussion on status of City Council's request for the Brazoria County District Attorney to obtain Texas Attorney General opinion regarding city manager serving as volunteer reserve police officer. Okay. Do we have any information on that?
Philip, I guess Philip?
Yeah, Philip.
You're up.
So, as you know, I'll keep it short, but last meeting, or a couple meetings ago, I can't remember when it was, council moved to request an AG opinion regarding the incompatibility of employment regarding positions of city manager and reserve officer. Sent up a request to the DA's office, which they have a discretion on whether or not they choose to submit it to the AG or the Attorney General or not. In this case, the DA's office declined to submit the City of Richwood's request. In doing so, when I sent it, the Assistant District Attorney, I believe her name was Mary Shine, I think, she informed me that it was their opinion that the two positions were in fact incompatible. and therefore they were not going to recommend it be submitted to the Attorney General. During our phone conversation, I further inquired as to whether or not, due to the two positions being incompatible, did the city manager resign his position when he became a reserve officer, and she stated no. That was pretty much it. So they did not send the Attorney General up, and that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you, Philip.
Thanks.
Discussion and possible action regarding City of Richwood sponsoring Wreaths Across America program.
This was requested by Councilman Johnson.
Councilman Johnson.
Oh, so Wreaths Across America is happening this Saturday. You can go to the website Wreaths Across America, and you can sponsor a wreath to be put onto a headstone, $15 a wreath. You can also volunteer. You can sign up. So like I volunteered, and because of our zip code, I'm going to be working Saturday morning at a cemetery in Angleton that has a bunch of veterans in it laying wreaths. There's also the National Cemetery up in Houston, other cemeteries I'm sure all around that are doing this, and I'd like to propose that the City of Richwood sponsor a wreath for $15.
Okay. Any questions?
I think that's a great idea.
Any motions?
So I will say that.
Yeah, I had a question on the
Yeah,
legality of that.
Does
Yeah.
somebody have a question?
No, you get it.
No,
I was just going to ask
yeah.
the same question. Is
I had-
that in budget? Is that something we can do?
Well, I didn't have a
We
question
got
whether or
it.
not it's in budget. I had a
15
question
bucks.
on whether or not the city is allowed to sponsor a program like that with taxpayers.
It is a 501c3.
Right. So that's,
So no, we can't.
My
I think
question illegal.
question arises, is it for the, I'll give you 1 second.
While I was pulling that up, I question the, as little money as we are talking in the cause, don't get me wrong. I'm okay with it being in the name of Richwood, but I can see there is some conflict in putting money towards something like that and using taxpayer money for that. I would gladly donate a wreath to be in the name of Richwood, but I don't know that I fully support the funds being taxpayer funds.
Tell you what, Mike, as mayor, I will personally put that $15 in for the City of Richwood.
Thank you. And
That way we don't have to have a vote. We
My
don't have to
company
have a-
actually has a matching fund, but the minimum is $20. So I sponsored 2 to get the matching fund.
Well, put me in for 2, or put us in for 2.
Okay,
But I personally pay.
thank you.
A motion needed.
No motion needed. Okay.
But if y'all want to volunteer for Saturday for work, go to Wreaths Across America, and there's a place there where you can volunteer to work.
Well, Kirk, just to answer your question.
yeah, I did want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, so you can, the city can, but it has to be for a public purpose. And so if you can just fit it into a category that is for the public, then usually it's okay to do.
Okay.
Parks and Rec.
That's just, yeah, but that's just for future references, that's all. Public purpose.
That's my pride.
And, okay. Approve items removed from consent agenda, which were appointment of William Yearson to the CCPD board, and David Thompson to the CCPD board. Any discussion, or do we have a motion?
So I had a question, Chief. Have you had a chance to look at the chaplain? It's no conflict, right, for him to serve the CCPD and be the chaplain of the police department? Just checking. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's no conflict.
It's not officially the reserve or appointed position.
Okay, that's what I was, yeah, that's what I was just making sure before we did it. I assumed you probably vetted these before they got sent to us, but I just want to check with you.
He's not sworn in, and I think he's strictly a volunteer for the well-being of the officers.
Okay, thank you.
Can this be one motion, or we have to do two?
Choose, or one's fine.
One's fine.
Yes.
Just mention both names.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint William Yersing and David Thompson to the Crime Control and Prevention District Board.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second? Again, I have a motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second? And third and last call. Motion made by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion made by Councilmember Johnson, seconded by Councilmember Yarborough. Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
No. No.
Councilmember Yarborough, how do you vote, sir?
Nay.
Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote?
Nay.
Okay. Let the record reflect that the motion did not carry. Okay.
I make a motion to appoint David Thompson to the Community Crime Prevention District Board.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilmember Yarborough for appointment of David Thompson to the CCPD. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second, seconded by Councilmember Johnson. Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Councilmember Strawn, how do you vote, ma'am?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarborough, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
And Councilmember Escalante, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect that motion does carry. All right. Okay, item 10, capital improvement projects update.
All right, Council, on the North Water Plant booster pump station building construction is complete. We had an issue with the paint, got rained on, so they're going to repaint the building. Got to repaint it. I don't know how that happened, but they're repainting it. It is what it is. Of course, our electrical equipment is delayed until spring of 2023. From what I do understand, that they are still planning to finish the driveway before they vacate the site, from my understanding at this time. Stormwater Master Plan Phase 1 and 2 of the drainage improvements. So the East Ditch construction has reached North Mahan. They are within days or a week from completing the project, minus some cleanup. So we have a tentative final walkthrough right now of December 22nd. We'll see how that goes. The ARPA project, Terracon, it's going to be the South Water Plant booster station and the generators. Terracon, the geotechnical engineering firm, is preparing to perform bores at the South Water Plant and generator locations for concrete pad design. Bid advertisement for the South Water Plant, which is going to be first, as we've discussed before, is anticipated for late January, early February. Generators will be bid after the South Water Plant, likely in April, and I'm sure that will be determined on how those bids come back in. Sidewalk drainage improvements, really sidewalk. The reason I mentioned drainage is because of more and the drainage work that has to be done to add the sidewalks. Agreement has been signed and bid advertisements anticipated for the first week of January 2023. I have talked to talked to the individual on South Yale Pond We have to remove 4 of their trees. They're working with us, and we'll get that done early January, so we can proceed. In the report, the utility line locates. During the drainage project, Matula found wastewater force main and water main that we were not aware were as shallow as they were. So we had to make a crash decision and get them relocated ASAP. We got them done on Saturday. This past Saturday, we worked on it all week, but hopefully we were able to save the city somewhere in the range of about 30 grand by doing it ourselves. Thank goodness it went okay. The ground storage auxiliary tank and pumps are in, and they are currently running. It took some doing to get it set up, and we were close. Just started running full time, I think, yesterday, I believe. So it's a weird setup. It's VFDs are variable frequency drive, and the pumps run from during the peak hours from about 5 to 10 in the morning and about 5 to 11 at night. They're constantly ramping up and coming down, and the RPMs are all over the place, but that's what they do. And it's based off the level of water in the auxiliary tanks. It's out there, but it's working. We drained the tank today, and they'll be on site tomorrow to get started. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Cliff. All right, city manager's report.
Mayor, Council, you pretty much got all of this Friday. I just would like to point out two significant things. Thank you very much, Cliff and your guys. This past week, they saved us a considerable amount of money by moving those lines themselves versus a contractor. Those Public Works guys have been working very, very hard. I'm sorry, and gal too. Say guys. Yeah. But we greatly appreciate that, and Chief working out an agreement with Lake Jackson, using their firing range as well. It's going to save us almost a couple $1,000s a year as well. So really appreciate staff keeping a watchful eye on our budget.
Okay.
Would have been easy not to do that, but both of them did very well. Thank you, guys.
All right.
That's all I've got.
Any questions? All right. Council member comments and reports. Councilmember Johnson.
So I missed last week's KRB meeting because I was out of town for work, but as a reminder, this Friday, at what time, I forget?
From 6 to 8.
From 6 to 8 right here. There's going to be Sipping with Santa, so you can come in and drink hot chocolate with Santa and bring your kids down here, maybe have a photo opportunity. That'd be good, and I appreciate everything that KRB is doing for the community. I appreciate all the candidates that came out tonight for the open council position. It shows great interest in the community and our path forward. And just a reminder, you know, May is coming up, and there's an opportunity to apply there. And I'd also like to say thanks to Public Works. You see them out there working all the time, and the police and the fire department. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Strong.
I totally agree. I thank everyone for coming out and putting in for council. That takes a lot of volunteer heart, volunteer spirit, and I really appreciate all of y'all for coming out. And I do encourage, same in May, there'll be 2 positions and a mayor that'll be open, so please. And I wanted to say we won't see y'all again before, so happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and everybody stay safe over the holidays.
Okay, Councilmember Yarborough.
Ditto, they both said it. So thanks everybody for stepping up and volunteering.
All right. Councilmember Escalante.
Yeah, just can't say it enough. Volunteerism is what makes our community great, whether it's on council, boards, community events. So continue on that passion on doing what you're doing. Encourage others to do it as well, and learn from it as we all grow as a city. And have a safe holiday. That's all I got.
Freshman Councilmember Fountain.
Just real quick, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to join the city council here. Appreciate it. Hopefully I can live up to what needs to be done there. If anybody ever wants to talk, I'm always here, always around doing something. I'll still be involved with, volunteering for KRB. I'll have to relinquish the seat I have there and probably at BWA too. But looking forward to it. So thank y'all very much. And then Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. Y'all be careful.
Thank y'all all. Mayor's report. I got a few things tonight, but first of all, I want to echo everything that's been said from the other council members about the folks that have volunteered for council positions or for the position. A lot of good folks there, a lot of good experience, and it was a tough decision. But we appreciate everyone's interest and hope that we haven't turned you off to coming out, because I'll tell you right now, we have a BWA position that will be open after tonight. BWA board position. That's a very important position because as Richwood is owns 1/7 of BWA, our input is just as important as anyone else's. I served on the board for 10 years, and there's a lot of big decisions that need to be made, and a lot of good, you learn a lot of things, especially about how the system works, the water systems works, and everything of that nature. So we'll be asking for volunteers on that. Again, I'd like to welcome Councilmember Fountain on the council, and I would also like to thank him for serving on BWA very faithfully and keeping us informed and keeping Richwood's interest in check. We are rescheduling a meeting with Brandy Growth and Representative Thompson, State Representative Thompson. We were going to meet with him today, but there was a problem, and so we're working to reschedule that with them. Seems that in our district alignments now, we will be split as far as our state representation. Representative Thompson will have part of Richwood, and the other part will be representative for the suit. So they wanted to sit down and talk with us and look at our priorities for the upcoming legislation, for the legislative session, to see how they could better help us maybe get some of the things that we need to keep this city going and keep it livable. And so we will set that back up. I told him if need be, because he's traveling the county right now, if need be, I'd drag Eric up there to Austin. And he said he didn't know if he wanted to go, but you know how. Anywho, on that, we will give you a report for that. If y'all will recall, at the last meeting, there was some discussion, questions asked about the Bastrop Bio wastewater treatment application by Undine. I've been pretty much deep in that for the last, I've been into it since the last council meeting, but I've been really deep into it since I received a letter earlier in the month from the TCEQ executive director that said that they were going to go ahead and forward it to the commission for their decision on whether to approve it or not. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's been approved. It doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be approved. But there's a 30-day window that will allow us, which we're coming up on the deadline on the 16th, will allow us to ask them for a reconsideration for the opinion or decision, or request a contested hearing. I'm going to go ahead and do both. I've been going pretty deep into the records and TCQ and EPA websites, and there's a lot of things that are throwing up red flags. It's also found out that our bio is on the list of 2 bios in the state, I believe, that are under that right now HGAC will be working on to protect the watershed. So these things weren't necessarily brought up to my recollection in the discussion or in the meeting with the TCQ and Undyne back in June, and so I believe that there is the potential for there is good evidence available to speak up and determine, or speak up and bring evidence that this is not, approval is not a good answer. Because I believe there's still a lot of bricks that's been left to be put into the walkway, I guess you could say. But at any rate, that's where I'm at. I should finish the letter tomorrow. I've actually changed it up several times this week because I'd get to writing and then I'd bring up another question and I'd go deeper into it and go deeper into the records that you can get online, and that would bring in some other questions. So, but I did want to let everyone know that it's not only us, that Representative Vasood has said that he would step, he's ready to jump in based on a conversation that I've had with the county. They're ready to jump in, and we're trying to go ahead and follow through with the wishes of the people to hopefully keep it from putting another source of wastewater in a tidal stream such as Bastrop. Also, my thanks to all the departments. Everybody's been out there doing good. Our city's looking better. We're getting our streets better. A little bit at a time, but we're moving forward instead of backwards. Or we're not sitting on the fence either. And we've had to do that for a lot of years. Last but not least, I wish y'all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If we don't see you between now and then, which we won't. Well, maybe we will, I don't know. But wish everyone a happy Christmas, and kiss and hug your family members and enjoy your time with them. Okay, future agenda items.
And we'll probably have some post-fire grant application information, bring back forward. Also, assuming we get it posted and maybe back and forth, then the BWA appointment and look at CCPD.
Okay.
Those board positions and possibly
KRB.
Okay.
I'll have a review from the Charter Review Committee, and we'll also call for elections.
Okay.
I had one to add, or maybe to add. When do we do your next performance, the city manager's next performance evaluation? I know it's like February, right? Should we do it in January or do we do it in February? Like, I didn't know if it needed to go before so do we add it to February?
It's February.
It's February.
Okay, February. We just didn't do it last year because we did it early, remember, with the contract thing, and so I didn't know if we were going by, when we would put that in. So do it February.
Yeah. Alrighty. Any other questions? Any other items? All right. Nothing further. Let's adjourn at 8:36.